Mario Kart World, ladies and gentlemen. It's been announced, it's been shown off, it's been said to be $80, and there's a lot of fun controversy surrounding this game. So today we're going to talk about it, break it all down. I'm going to touch lightly on the price point, then on what I want to see from this game in the Direct coming up on April 16th, I believe, and then also just like how sick the game looks as a whole, because I am genuinely excited about it, but I'm also not excited about that $80 price point, so let's get into things. First of all, the most touchy subject of the entire thing, $80. This game was not announced to have a price. Like, when we saw this game initially shown off in the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct last week, no price point was shown off regardless, right? So nobody knew. Everybody was very excited for this game. There's a lot of hype around it. You know, oh my gosh, I saw the cow. You can play as a cow. You can play as this skeleton fish guy. You can play as this freak, the Piatas, or whatever they're called from Mario Sunshine. There's a lot of very excited people. There's also a lot of people who are absolutely outraged. $80. $80 for a game in today's economy? In today's economy? Are you joking, Nintendo? $80 for a game that is just like a party game, and it's also the launch game with the Nintendo Switch 2, so do we want to pay that much on top of buying a $450 console? Good lord. Some people do, some people don't. And listen, I'm here to tell you guys, I don't want to pay $80, but I just made a whole video talking about the pricing, you know, everything, and I'm going way more into depth and like why I think that's a thing, my actual thoughts on that. I'll put that in a card. You can watch that after this video. But in short, people are pissed off about $80. I am not happy about $80. I think that's way too much for this game, but it's Mario Kart Worlds. I'm still going to buy it. I'm still going to play it, and I am excited for it. And I know that's probably going to be hard for people to hear, but come on, guys. It's exciting. It looks like a damn good game. Have we not been watching the same Treehouse presentations? I mean, I was sort of excited for what I saw in the Direct, but then they went way more into it within the Treehouse, and was the gameplay up to a Mario Kart Pro, such as myself? Definitely not, but it looks freaking good. It looks good as fuck. First of all, we obviously have the Grand Prix mode with this game. It looks pretty traditional, except for the fact that you're driving in between every course. They're really going like open world with this game, which is a crazy gimmick, I guess, to choose for a Mario Kart game. I'm very excited about it. I'm just curious how it's going to actually, you know, work in practice. So basically, you do a Grand Prix, 4 races, but you do like the main one. You do one main race, the first one, 3 laps, but then you have 2 laps where you like go to the next destination, you know, which is great, like on some sort of like back road or whatever. It looks cool. It's all themed. And then you get to the next course. I think you do that for like a lap or 2, and then you go to the next one. It's the same thing. So basically, like, they kind of went away with the 3-lap structure of how Mario Kart Grand Prix are traditionally played, which is really interesting. I think they're totally changing it up, and I think that's not a big deal. I was watching this guy's video, Shortcat. He's a great Mario Kart 8 Deluxe creator. Obviously, he's going to probably cover Mario Kart Worlds, and he made a whole video talking about that as well. You should watch that if you're curious about, like, the pro strats within it. So he's basically talking about how there needed to be a differentiation between versus races and the Grand Prix, so now this, like, allows that to be more of a thing, which I totally agree with. I think basically by doing this, they're giving each mode a little bit more individuality, a reason to go into that mode over another one that is more than just like you don't have to like pick the map every single time, I guess, you know what I'm saying? So it's a weird thing, but I think as a whole, that restructuring of the Grand Prix is just going to be something to get used to, and eventually, you know, something that we'll really enjoy. I love the idea that everything is interconnected and that you are, like, basically never not racing. I think that is pretty exciting and could be really fun. So I look forward to that, and the idea that they are changing it up in this way at least just tells me that they're trying to be experimental a little bit with this title, which I think is really exciting. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, as good of a game as it is, that is the best Mario Kart, you know, like, base formula, I think, experience you could possibly get. The racing was fantastic, the maps were great, the physics and everything in that game, how characters controlled and moved, was awesome, and so I think by changing it up, they just want to give a little bit more variety here, which I really appreciate. Then we have a Battle Royale type mode where you're like, there's 24 of you, and then every lap, there's 6 laps, 4 people get eliminated. And it's really cool. I love the idea of this. I think this is fucking awesome. You're racing on not normal Mario Kart maps, really. They're like constantly changed. So the map, every single lap, it changes a little bit. There's a point where you're racing like off the side of it. It doesn't even look like you're actually racing like on the actual map. It's like, it looks like it gets really crazy and really fun and just creative and stuff. And flips every single lap on its head. So the idea, again, of just constantly new things is really exciting, in my opinion, as someone who isn't necessarily a pro player in Mario Kart, but I consider myself pretty good at Mario Kart. I beat all my friends. I am fairly competitive with the game. My chat usually absolutely cooks me, but that's just because sometimes I don't know every elite strat on the maps. But yeah, on top of that, I noticed that a lot of the power-ups are different. We obviously have the tried and trues like the shells and all of that kind of fun stuff, but we also have the feather, which was really like only a thing in battle mode. So I'm really intrigued, you know, like what that is actually going to do, because in the gameplay, we saw one of the treehouse people trying to use the feather to get out of a blue shell, so I wonder if that's another way other than the mushroom, and of course the horn. Very intrigued. The thunder also seems to be nerfed quite a bit, which is great because that used to just stop everything basically and suck for everyone, but if you're behind the player who uses the thunder, now you don't also get shocked. I think this is all just a part of like the balancing act of being like, okay, well now we have 24 active players in Mario Kart, and it has already been so hectic with all of the items and stuff happening that, you know, to have items that are insanely powerful like that is going to mean more than just, you know, going from like 3rd to 9th. Now you're going to go from like 3rd to like 20th or something. And, you know, if I get 24th, my mental health is going to be ruined for the year. So let's just hope that never happens. We also got the free roam mode, which looks awesome. This is something that I'm very excited for. I love it when games just allow you to like hang out with your friends in the game. So the fact that I can get together with some homies, we can be trekking around just the world of Mario Kart and experiencing it together, finding secrets, finding these niche little references everywhere, and just really like mapping out the tracks, seeing what everything looks like together is so much fun. Just the idea of roaming around in a Mario Kart game that is interconnected like this is genius, so I love that Nintendo has gone really all the way in this online feature-rich thing that they've created. Now that's about all we know so far, but we are getting a Direct in about a week, and so I'm really intrigued as to what they're going to announce here. I think in order to make a whole Direct for this game, they're gonna have some big modes, right, that we're missing. Obviously, a mainstay that we don't have in this game is battle mode, so I'm assuming that is going to make a comeback in some way. Maybe it's different. Maybe it is just very traditional battle mode. I wouldn't mind either. I think battle mode is a staple. It's a fun game mode and something I really enjoy, especially to just break up the pace of traditional Mario Kart races because it just offers something completely new. I'm assuming they're going to go also just like more into what the online features for this game are going to look like. Lobbies maybe, how that works with friends, creating all that kind of stuff I think would be just a good call, because online Mario Kart obviously is a pretty big component of that game. But I also think we're getting a story mode. Diddy Kong Racing, the best N64 game, bar none, of all time. I'm going to say that. I don't give a shit. That game is really good, and it has a story mode that teaches you just like basically how to play the game, as well as like having boss battles and all of this craziness, and just like with the amount of like weird customization I feel like they have in this game, like they could really go hog wild with this story mode. Just like, you know, you have to be in this different outfit to be in this race and whatever, and like it doesn't have to be that fleshed out of a story mode. Mario Kart DS did something kind of similar, and just like allow players to get more familiar with this game in a new way, I guess. I think like that's where I think a story mode could really shine, on top of just like being fun. You know, Subspace Emissary and even like Smash Ultimate's single player, it's just fun to see it all come together and to really practice your skills in there, and you unlock some cool shit. So maybe just unlockable outfits, something like that. Nintendo's going all in with the outfits for some reason, which is really bizarre. I'm still really confused on like what the food actually does. It looks to be giving you like a slight boost and then changing your outfit, but like, do the outfits themselves have power-ups or advantages over different ones? I'm very intrigued. And then also, this is a pipe dream. And as someone who hasn't experienced enough of Double Dash to really love it, tell me a Double Dash mode in this game would bang. The idea of bringing back Double Dash in this game as a separate mode alongside all of the other modes, like this is a mode-rich game, we know that. Why not bring it back? Why not see, you know, what the new developers could cook up with the Double Dash mode? You don't have to do too much, just allow 2 characters into one cart, whatever, or like directly just bring over like 10 or so of those courses, you know? It doesn't have to be a full-fledged, you know, thing, but just like a little bit of a Double Dash mode, I think would go crazy and make fans really excited for this game. Again, It's $80. They're gonna have to do some shit that makes this game worth it for people, and I think by adding more modes and adding more value, that could be a possibility. I talked about this slightly in my pricing video and when I was streaming a little bit ago, but we talked about the possibility of, free DLC continuing to come to this game for a few years. And I think that could also be a possibility here. Obviously, we need them to release a completely full package, but the idea of, paying maybe that $20 DLC price point in the beginning, right, and just getting it for free for a few years, or as an included price for a few years, could be really cool, and again, that could add a little bit of value to that super expensive price point. But yeah, I mean, they gotta sell in this direct why this game is $80, because it's not making a lot of sense to a lot of people right now, and frankly, other than the fact that they sold a gazillion copies of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and they can charge $80 here, I don't really understand why they've gone all the way in on that price point. I think it's dumb, I think it's anti-consumer, and I got roasted a long time ago on the Spawncast because I said that Nintendo has some fairly pro-consumer policies, and I do think that at times they do. You don't really hear about them laying off all of the developers that the rest of the gaming industry is, and you don't hear about all of the craziness and the greed that most companies have, where they're just shut down a company after one failed game or whatever, right? Like a lot of the big companies do. This is a new era for Nintendo. Maybe they're getting into that. I take it back now, obviously, with the experience I have, looking at the system from afar right now. I was wrong. I'm fully willing to admit that. That's my bad. But that was just my thinking at the time, and they're getting greedy. So I'm hoping that even though they're getting greedy, they still realize that this game needs to sell people on it, because people could just fully stay with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and be happy. So do something different, make this worthwhile, and give us so much value that the $80 price point seems slightly more justifiable than it is right now. Let me know what you think about Mario Kart World down in the comments below. I genuinely want to know. This has been a really polarizing topic of conversation. If you hate me for what I said here, I'm just trying to throw out my opinion, you guys. I don't know. This has been a really crazy console, start to a console's life cycle, because I've been eaten alive, chat. Obviously, I'm going to get this game. I can make videos on it. I can do content around it. But if I wasn't a YouTuber, I'd probably not be going after it right away and immediately. You could also remember that you could get it digitally included with the Nintendo Switch 2 for $50. That's a possibility. It's just a digital game, which also sucks. I'm getting the physical one because I know I can make videos on it and make a little bit of that money back, at least slightly. Again, I'm a very small YouTuber, so slightly, but I have a little bit more, I think, incentive on the game than people who don't have a YouTube channel or played Mario Kart 8 as religiously as I did. I mean, I've played that game for 10 years now. I need a new experience, but let me know what you think down in the comments below. Check out this video. It's a banger, it's a vibe, it's a good time. This explains my pricing opinion, so go check that out. If you're pissed that I didn't talk about the $80 enough, I break down my thoughts on the pricing right there. I'm sorry, I'm not an economics major. I just have experiences in life and in America that I can sort of talk about economically.